Hey everyone, Jag Taggart 93 here with something a little different tonight. With Halloween coming up, I thought it'd be really neat to talk about some of my favorite Halloween memories. I really enjoy this time of year, and I think that has to do a lot with the spirit of the holiday itself. You see, as a secular culture, Halloween is very simple. All we're asked to do as an American culture on Halloween is just have spooky fun for the sake of having fun. It's a lot different than other holidays where on, say, Independence Day you have to be patriotic. Christmas, you're asked to be charitable. Thanksgiving, you're asked to give thanks. They're all aimed at these higher, more loftier ideals, and things are much more simpler on Halloween. There's no pretense, it's just have fun. It's an unabashed holiday. With Christmas, again, it's about giving, and yet everyone spends, and wants to get. Thanksgiving is about being thankful, and yet everyone acts like a glutton. Independence Day, everyone is supposed to be patriotic and proud, and yet it can turn into xenophobia or just an excuse to, again, be a glutton or set fire to things and blow things up. Now, all those things are fun, but you see the dual nature of those holidays where it's a lofty ideal and yet people do something else. With Halloween, no. Halloween makes no pretense. Halloween says, you want to eat a lot of candy? Do it. That's all part of the holiday. You want to have fun? Do it. You want to have buckets of fake blood all over the place and scare kids? Do it. It's part of the fun. So I think that's why Halloween is so many people's favorite holiday, myself included. Now, probably one of my earliest and most favorite memories was being in third grade and making my first costume for Halloween. Now, I've been in parochial schools from kindergarten to 12th grade, and believe it or not, Catholic schools do celebrate Halloween. Well, at least those that I've been to. Of course, some costumes are off limits, but the rules for what you could wear and can't wear were always a bit lax. So, as I was saying, in third grade I made my own costume, and that was Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. The game had been out and was huge, and my costume was very popular with the other kids. Now, I made the costume from another ninja costume I wore the year prior, and I helped my mom, or actually I should say my mom helped me sew yellow fabric to the front. And when I say help, I mean I directed and she did all the hard work. But still, I wore a skull mask under my ninja hood, and I tied some string around a Nerf dart to act as my little spear weapon for Scorpion. Get over here. So, that afternoon, the school had some Halloween activities planned, which included a costume contest. Here I thought I was a shoo-in, but I lost. I lost to another student who was dressed as Dan Marino, the Miami Dolphins quarterback. His mom, by the way, was an employee of the school, so she was one of the judges. No hard feelings, we remained good friends after that, even though I was a little disappointed. But this started a little tradition for me of trying to make my own Halloween costumes when I could. Some of my favorites being Edgar Frog from Lost Boys and Vampire Hunter D. Now, those two costumes have stories in themselves, especially the Vampire Hunter D one, where I dressed as that, and nearly everyone thought I was Zorro. Zorro with a weird face on his hand. Yeah. But anyway, there were some years where I didn't feel like making a costume, and some years I just wanted to buy one off the rack. A couple years later, this was eighth grade. Eighth grade. The Scream movies were very, very popular with preteens and teenagers. So I just had to get a Ghostface costume, and I did. Now this year I was going trick or treating by myself. Um, I did have friends, but all my friends didn't really live too locally. Again, I went to parochial school, so all the kids that lived on my street and on neighboring streets went to the public schools. I never really socialized with them. Again, I wouldn't see them in school because we go to different schools, and I never really played outside. Nintendo and Sega really dominated my childhood. So there I was, walking along the streets, trick-or-treating by myself, and getting kind of lonely in my Ghostface outfit. Uh, but in the distance, I saw a group of kids, and they were at my next house, so I trotted right up to them and decided to follow them. I actually kept following them, and it took about a house or two for them to realize they were being followed by this kid in a Ghostface costume. So before I could introduce myself, one of the other kids, a girl dressed as a cheerleader, chimed in, "Hey John, you're late." I stood there for a moment, not sure how to respond to her comment. I was a very socially awkward early teen, so I was at a loss for words, so I just shook my head awkwardly no. And I didn't realize probably how creepy that might have looked because, again, I'm wearing my full Ghostface costume. So they think I'm this guy named John. My name's not John. And I'm just there shaking my head no. So she laughs and responds, "Oh, I get it. So you're the sociopath that's going to hack us all up later tonight." Now, there I had to stifle a laugh under my mask. And I couldn't help but eagerly nod my head very quickly up and down affirmatively. So the other kids laughed, and we moved on. And I continued to play along for the next few houses as if I was John, nodding, shaking my head, um, nodding too when the two kids would be in conversation with each other, nodding as if I knew what they were talking about, and it was just a lot of fun. Um, so some houses go by, and they never caught on that I was never talking. I didn't even say anything to any of them when they would ask me a question. I would just nod, shake my head, or I would never actually say trick or treat with the others, but they really didn't notice or care. So eventually, this John fellow eventually trotted up to us, his ghost face mask in one hand and an empty pillowcase in the other. He apologized for being late, said he got stuck having to hand out candy at home until his parents got home from work. Now he looked at all of us, and I can see he was counting in his head. Before he blurted out what everyone else in the group was definitely thinking at that point, he pointed at me and shouted, "Wait, who the fuck is that?" So at that point, I started to sense they were all getting a bit anxious, a bit rattled. There was about 6 of them, one of me, so I decided it was then to make my exit, as creepily as possible. So I put a gloved finger over my elongated white mouth of my mask, and I whispered, "Shh," as I carefully started to awkwardly shamble backwards away from them. Now I did this because I thought it would be more creepy if I walked away, moving backwards, very unnaturally. So I wanted to give them that parting memory. But I also did it too so I can continue watching them as I walked away to make sure they didn't charge and try to pummel me as soon as I turned my head. So uh, I could see from their faces that my awkward shambling backwards, whispering shh and whatnot, and waving my finger and then actually waving around my fake knife at one point too, had the desired effect as they started backing off very cautiously as well. Once I got about a half a block away, I then started to walk normal, giggling inanely to myself with my huge bag of candy. Um, and I really didn't care, because we were going to be moving to another part of town in a few months anyway, so it would be very unlikely I'd ever see any of these people again, and I never did. So it'd be very funny if one of them actually listens to this recording and they finally figure out who it was in that Ghostface mask all those years later. So yeah, those are just a few of my favorite Halloween memories. Now there's a lot more that I have, some being more funny, and other stories being much more creepy. Some of these stories actually are ones where I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but you'll see. So expect more uploads in the very near future. In fact, I'll probably do another one about some more Halloween memories too before Halloween itself. So yeah, thank you for all for watching. I hope this is as fun to listen to as it was for me to talk about. This is Jag Taggart 93 signing out. Have a good one.